Hello and welcome. I am Kimberly and my channel is Journal Breeze. I appreciate you stopping by today. I would love to put out a special welcome to the new subscribers that I have and also new viewers from a recent guest post that I did on book and paper arts for Kelly. That is her channel, and she asked me to do a creation of my choice, and I chose to do a video about 15 ways, different ways that one could use the, I think, kind of recent trendy arty pictorial printables. Most people were using them strictly to make other digitals, but I find them to be really interesting to work with in paper too. So as much as they might be a little bit intimidating or even a little bit unusual to think about how you can use them in a page, I challenged myself to make this journal using plain white paper and the digital, and then finding a way to incorporate it so it doesn't just look like a digital sitting on the page. So I will link to the video that I put on Book and Paper Art so you can see those 15 ways described so you can replicate them if you'd like. And today we're going to do a flip through of the rest of the journal. It's a chunker, so it's not like there isn't much to show you. This is a half-page composition notebook, and I actually took out about a third of the pages. Yeah, I did. Took out a third of the pages, and I coffee dyed each one individually. Opened it up and coffee dyed it, I think just one side, maybe laid them on top of each other to get both sides, and then put it in the sun, all of them. And I would do several at a time and then bring them in and then do the next batch. I enjoyed the process. I used a squirt bottle like this, so it was, quick. And drying in the sun here was super quick. So I would do it again in a pinch, in a moment. And I put a new spine on. It had the very skinny spine that composition notebooks have. I put the spine on once I had gotten all the pages together, and I really would have had to make a way wider spine, way wider, in order for this not to be a gator mouth. And I just don't like books with that big of a spine. I don't want to write in them. I don't want to shelve them. They're just not appealing to me. It's a personal preference. Other people's look beautiful, but I do write in my journal, so that's a little much. And so I decided that I would instead use a tie to hold it together, and then when it's open, it actually lays pretty flat. In most of the pages are totally flat, so I made that decision. So let's get started. I'm going to put all of the paper designers in the description box. And I'm going to bring you a little bit closer because I can tell you won't miss things. So I used quotes and fit them to the page throughout this journal. It's not on every page, but I enjoyed the quotes and found ways to make them fit or sort of add to the message of the story that I was trying to tell. And this is a die cut flower that I added and that I decorated with paint and stains from Tim Holtz. It's a Tim Holtz die. And this is a tag that I made a pocket on the front of, and I wanted it to blend into the background. I didn't really want it to stand out too much. The font separated it. I also glued on these pieces of digital lace. And then this is a embossed piece of acetate on this cute little tag. And I use this paper clip not only to keep them together, but to keep it down inside that pocket. I glued a piece of spiral bound throwaway to the top of this page to add a little interest. This you'll find that I kind of went in, because this is very much experimentation and kind of stream of process. I wanted the digitals to speak to me. I wanted them to be used to their fullest. That was my goal. Fill the page, use them to the fullest. So I'll do several of one thing in a row, several pages or a few pages of one concept in a row and kind of play it out. So this tag on blending in, and then this tag on blending in. And then you pull out this little piece inside and you get the quote, "Art is never finished, only abandoned." And Leonardo da Vinci said it. So again, I feel like it's just blending in. It stands out more than the one on the first page, but not entirely. And this, you may not even realize you're going to pull out. So, because I think it blends in well with that. And sometimes the things that are in the pockets are completely not related to the tag. I used many different digital kits, so it was really going for a look, and whatever digital fit that space the best. I enjoyed a lot of collaging in this book. I love Alice Walker's books so much. So her quote is, "Whenever you are creating beauty around you, you are restoring your soul." I thought that was a beautiful quote to just be the standout on the page. So this is layered 1, 2, 3, 4 scraps. This is one of those digital prints you might wonder what to do with. And this is a copy of an envelope I have, a stamp from the Netherlands for my collection. And I actually did not put this postmark over here. This was on the actual letter, and this was on the actual stamp. And then I've got a whoop, whoop. Yep, I love that picture. It came from a newspaper. It was from a person that was jumping off their board around Los Angeles. I think it was Hollywood. And I just thought, oh my gosh, what a surprise that picture was. So I decided to rip it out. It was years ago, and so I thought I could stick it in here, and it would be a nice surprise. I forget about it. I added a little piece of lace there as well. This is another little quote I really enjoyed. I feel that way about reading. So the fact that she was reading and then they're using the word art, I felt that the two go together really well. And I like how the gesso blended it into the background. I felt like this was possibly an interpretation of a woman who was in a sad state of mind, and so I picked that quote. And you get a sense of what the papers look like after I coffee dyed them. Some I dyed 2 or 3 times just to get a little more interest going on the page. And in the half-page book, the lines ran if they got too wet. But the digitals didn't, and I did spray some of the digitals. This is a stamp I put on. I added these 2 metal-looking papers like license plates and put this slide of the ocean into a slide of the ocean. I was playing with a digital that I just love because I love palm trees. They're really everywhere where I live here. But these just remind me of the tropics because they're right at the beach. So I think of Hawaii. And I originally layered them across the page, and I didn't have this belly band. But I like this house that you can barely even make out. That's, looks like the waves basically. It just kind of blends in. So I added that as a belly band, and then felt it was only fair to put something in that belly band. And then these are all pull-outs of more beautiful tropical scenes. This is a stamp, rubber stamp, and this was a background paper where I was testing the stamp. And so it was sprayed, and I had different things going on, so I decided to use it for this stamp. It's by Wendy somebody. I don't recall who. And then I think I sprinkled mica spray across the top. But I thought that was a nice feel for this grungy neutral journal. And then this folded over, and rather than rip it off, I thought, well, I'll just fold it over. This is a die cut by Tim Holtz, and I sprayed and distressed it. It was on a plain beige paper. And then this girl is thinking about her boyfriend. Yeah. And this is from a bouquet that he gave her. This is a stamp that I placed over her heart, indicating transformation. Take that as you want. Here I wanted to play with up, down, up, down, up. Large faces, more long view, distant shots, and of course the flowers. So I made these smaller and cut them out of various strips to get that look so that it reads as a cohesive. I put some mica spray on this and wiped a lot of it off. So there's a nice shine behind the dots. It's kind of hard to see here, but it's really pretty. It looks mystical. And this is a digital, a clear sticker, and a rag paper French book from 1850s. This is a piece of fabric that I coffee dyed. And then I decorated. I cut this out of a digital, and I added a couple of die cuts right here and right here. I spray painted that. Maybe not spray painted is the right word. I put white paint on it. And I like the subtlety. I really prefer subtlety a lot of the time. In this one I made a sticker by printing this digital onto transparent sticker paper. And then I glued an old piece of paper here, put an old piece of lace on there, and put another old piece of book page here. That's a book page, that's a book page. And I feel like she just blends right in. That's just her room to read in. Very cozy. Love the plaids. Love the tartans. I distressed 4 corners and then took a photo. I actually made this digital by taking a photo I own and copying it on top of another digital, and then I distressed it quite a bit. And I added this number to the side. This is another example, but this has houses in it. And carrying on that theme, I made this belly band with a house as well. And then these were background papers when I was spray painting some of the die cuts. Or not spray painting, I don't know why I keep saying that. Staining, that's more like it. I was staining them. And these were the backgrounds. And the backs were also pretty. So I didn't really want to glue these down because I like the back almost as much as the front. So I thought, okay, great, I'll make a belly band and put those in there so I can look at them. I love these houses on the beach. Oh my gosh, love, love, love. And I think they're a fun surprise after seeing the other one that was all trees. It's kind of cool to pull it out and have it be a house. The quote is, and then I have nature and art and poetry. And if that is not enough, what is enough? That's Van Gogh. I glued this favorite picture of a meditating Buddha onto this background, and then made sayings, or cut out sayings that I thought really spoke to me. And I love this background paper as well. And I put another good quote that goes along with that whole idea of meditating on this page. These are, to look more like metal or pieces of paper, and I put them over the edge because I thought each side was so different that I wanted to make the most of them. This I actually glued on a button, paper button. But I just thought it'd be fun to try it. Why not? Why not have the edges filled with things that are short, leaving the room for the writing? So I was happy with that outcome. This one has quite a few additions on it that you may not be able to tell without having the actual digital next to it. I added the numbers, they're washi tape, and then this is a napkin tissue paper, or you could use the white part of a napkin that I stamped on with black ink. And then this, believe it or not, I added, and it's a 1932 receipt, part of one. Some of you may know that I'm making a 1932 digital with a lot of originals, and this is from that set of ephemera, actual ephemera. And then this tag I cut out of a digital paper and turned it into a tag. I wanted a plain background so that I could add these die cuts that I cut out of paper that I painted in grades of blue, shades of blue, gradiating shades of blue, I guess I could say. And then tape, faux cello tape that I made. This one sadly needs this paper clip or it slips out. But this is a piece of acetate that I sewed on here and then put this bird on. I would bend his wings up, but it's kind of glued down and they wouldn't stay anyway. But I scuffed it up with a sandpaper circle with a disc. Quite a bit. It was a really dark black, like this dark black, and I did scuff it up. Well, that looks charcoal compared. It was very black. And then this tag I just thought was fantastic the way it is. So I just added this three-dimensional twiny kind of a thing. It's like little paper flowers that stick up. I love this tag. I love this brown with that blue. Just love it. And when you first see it, you don't really notice, unless you have a shine, you don't notice the belly band. This one I just had fun with. I had fond memories of this museum in Montreal. I love this piece of lace so much, and I don't have very much left. So this is my way of preserving it. Isn't it gorgeous? It's so gorgeous. And it's a brown, which is so unusual. And then these are buttons I cut out. And it looks somewhat like, a sampler card. So it was fun. And then this piece of lace is also gorgeous and also brown. And the saying is important here. Art is anything you can get away with, by Andy Warhol. So to me, this piece of lace is truly art. This is actually a digital. I glued on this tag, which you probably can't even tell. You probably think it's part of it, but it's a glued tag. I made a pocket to go with it. And the saying is, to make living itself an art, that is the goal. It's by Henry Miller. So I picked a picture of a woman who is living in a wealthy situation. Look at how beautiful this frame is, and the silk across the top, and that beautiful day bed. And she's got, a pretty day dress on, and her hair's fixed. So to me, that fit the quote, and I love this gray and white combo here. And then I love looking at old typewriters. I'm sure we all do. And I made a metal metal numbers. I cut it out of one of Tim Holtz's new die cuts, specimens. Yeah, it's a set of quite a few different things, and so I cut it out of a pop can. This is an old Tim Holtz picture that I just really made look originally old and scuffed up. I think it turned out fantastically, and I glued this on top of here. This actually came from the Creep on June digital kits, and I have videos on that. If you're interested in Creep on June, it's what Tracy Fox does in the month of June, and I was a guest host. I say that because I was so honored to be asked, and it was the most incredible set of digitals for anything to do with spooky and creepy that you could ever imagine. This lace is so fantastic, so you could use it in different ways. This I just simply put a lot of different paint splotches on. This is another example of putting a lady on a page and not knowing that she was added. This digital looks like it came this way, does it not? I don't even know if you can tell what I put on there. It fits so perfectly. But I added an entire journaling card. It could be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this strip, could be these books, could be, here's what it is, a square right here. Isn't that incredible? These are completely unrelated designers, two totally unrelated kits. They couldn't be farther apart. But when I see plaids, I think of reading. I think of school. I think of cozy, these colored plaids. I love plaids. I love books. I love reading. So I added this little bit of black lace, and I think it looks very good. This is another picture from my own collection that I put on top of another digital. I added the photo corners to make it into a pocket. I stenciled the edge, and then this is a tag that was in a kit, and I put this old receipt of some sort into this section, and then I tore up a label and put those there, and the rest of it is on this wonderful digital. This is what the digital looked like, and this is the, I don't know if this was a tag or that I cut it out to be a tag. I think it was a tag. And so I added a couple of die cuts, this one that I painted, and then this top of one, and I used the stem from the flower that was on there. And this is, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but this stamp has a pen. It's a nib for a pen as the body. It's not a bug body. I don't know if that's a Tim Holtz butterfly or what. I don't even know if I have the packaging on it anymore. But yeah, it's a pen nib. So I love this. It's an Albert Einstein quote. There's nothing he has ever said that's been quoted that I haven't loved, but I will read it. Art is standing with one hand extended into the universe and on one hand extended into the world, and letting ourselves be a conduit for passing energy. So this to me looked like the universe, or standing on the ground looking up at it. And this, of course, is transformation and artful. That's my take anyway. I formed this picture into a pocket, and this is another picture from my collection that I copied onto something else. I got this idea from Alex. You know, Alex that does those incredible books that are, you know, all three-dimensional all the way through. Resin is her favorite thing right now, and I took her earlier a class called Keeping Memories, and she taught us to put pictures on top of pages. So I loved the concept, and then I copied it with an acetate. But you can see the design behind there and some of the marks down here and different things that aren't in the original photo. This thing here, whatever that is. And I liked it because she's taking a picture. This is a good quote for us journal makers. This is old rag paper. It's a jelly print that I made that I thought looked really rusty and had a lot of green in it. Then I glued this down, put a ribbon on, seam tape, and the top of a book page. So a little scrap, and a little scrap of paper. I think the colors are dynamic, and I really love how it turned out. This page is actually three separate independent digitals that I glued together in a strip to cover the page, and I put collage medium on top of this one to make it shine so that it would be clearly a different digital, or that it would remind me, and then scattered paint. And then this was a collage, quite a few different pieces of paper here. And I liked this. I love Georgia O'Keeffe's work and her thoughts about perspective. And so that led me to want to put this leaf I dried a couple years ago on top of it. And I splattered with black ink here and white ink here. Again, to kind of experiment. I explained this more in the other video. This is a background paper from distressing that I was doing. These two I showed on Instagram, so you might have seen them. This is in the background is a digital. And then I added this, and this. Yeah. So it's not even a belly band. I just wanted to kind of do a collage on top of a collaged video and keep it all in the neutrals. And I think it turned out really cool. It's interesting. Your mind looks at everything. You know, it has some significance in the numbers and the season and all that to me. And I really enjoyed making it. This one was also a favorite. And I took little tags. Love this butterfly, love the color. And I wanted everything to be able to go under this, if you want to say extra wide belly band. So this one's got a pin to weight the top of it. And this one has a brad to weight the top of it. Whoops. Okay. All right. Because it had to be a very thin tag that went in there, because there's a lot going on underneath this, and if it was too thick it would have been troublesome. So I used metal to give it a little bit of weight to keep it down, because I couldn't back it, which would have added weight, in case that wasn't clear. So here I put the quote on insert, and a beautiful picture of the ocean through a dirty window, though. They're in their car. That's what it looks like to me, a dirty windshield. I know what that looks like, so it's okay. This one you see a picture and then surprise, yep, it's a house on a beach. I love how that turned out. And then there's, let's see, my tag is a very recent video. I think it'll be the one before this, where I used different book pages, words, to tell a story around the picture that I chose. So she looks like she's going to, conquer the world. So I used a quote that is usually saved for men, of wisdom for a man's self, but couldn't find a man that looked as strong as she did, so determined and so ready to tackle whatever got in her way of her goal or her dream. So I thought that was great. And there's other little fun things around the edges. Another metal die cut that I made. This is from the binding of a book. It's that yummy part that comes in old books. And then this little shed that's right on the beach there. Be an Airbnb if it was a real thing, wouldn't it? And we'd all be trying to rent it. Here's another example of my putting, you can tell now because I've sort of not blended it quite as well, but the feeling that I want is there. And I just love reading, so all of these digitals are just, I like looking at them. Some people like flowers. I like looking at books and people reading them. Women that are in different fashion and different wallpaper and different couches, the whole thing. It's just so interesting to me. I love it. Here's another background paper that I simply stamped on, and that was it. So you can see what Tim Holtz flower that was I was trying to give spray paint to. I actually didn't end up using it in this journal. It was black, and I put this silver mica on it, pewter I think it's called. But this is such a cool stamp. I've got some plans for this stamp that I haven't had the time to make yet, so I'm glad it could work out here. So right away your eye probably jumps to this die cut that I decorated. But the real key to this one was this secret pocket. And this girl is dreaming of the trip she's taken to Hawaii. She is not sleeping. She is not resting. She is going to the source of her vacation in her mind. And I just thought it was perfect the way that these were set up. It was just inviting a secret pocket. And we have another secret pocket in this beach scene. Pretty funny quote, right? You would never know there was a pocket there. I love this so much, this color of blue. We get skies that color, but the water doesn't usually look quite that blue. Somewhere in the world it does, but Southern California, not so much. It's more blue-green. On this side, I have a couple of die cuts, and then I played around with paint samples from the paint store. And I loved this part of a digital. And then I made a little booklet to write on and put a date on that's significant to me, and a little handle. It's from a 1940s book. And in fact, I'm using the cover for my 1940s journal that I'll be making after the 1930s journal. There's a playlist for these journals in my playlist. I'm working on the 1930s one now, but I was gathering materials for the 1930s, 40s, and 50s journals in the first 3 videos on that playlist, and textiles too. So this was just trying to kind of collage the page and have pockets with the collage. So if you take everything out, what you have are a tag and then a pocket that I put on the tag. And originally I was going to put something in the pocket, but then it covered up the best part, so I didn't want to do that. So this became a pocket. This is glued down. This is glued down, and this is also a pocket. And these are unrelated. Excuse me. Although I think they came from the same digital originally. And I'm kind of guessing it's a chapter 1 digital. And then this just had this big blank space for writing. So it was the perfect one. Oh, it isn't glued down. It's a pocket. All right, there you go. And then I added numbers. Let's see. Oh, maybe I didn't add to this. Oh, I added this 64. That's it. I just added that. Yes, I like angels and beaches, so it's my journal. And then I added the circle of family, or the family circle. Little guardian angel of that family circle. This is a picture from a brochure for something or another. I've had it forever, and I was glad to finally use it. So I put it in photo corners and didn't glue it down. And then I glued another quote onto a piece of 1850s book page. Left the edges showing. It's so beautiful. Rag paper. French. And to finish it off, I saved a very good quote for the end. The world always seems brighter when you've just made something that wasn't there before. Do you love that or what? And I know you all relate, or you wouldn't be watching this video. And look at how happy your face is. We all know how that feels. Ah, I'm done, and I loved every minute. And that's how I feel about this journal. I just loved every minute of making this journal. And it was all spontaneous and all... I didn't intend to make a journal. I was really just going to play with those digitals. But it ended up just being so fun, I kept going. And then I used muslin to glue the book tape. It's actually book tape. And so I put that on the outside and then used muslin on the inside. So that's it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will pop on over to Book and Paper Arts for my other video about using pictorial digital art prints in your journal and see the 15 that I explain in detail. And I hope that you will like this video and subscribe if you feel moved. And I love comments, just anything at all. Questions, thoughts, comments, suggestions. I really feel connected only when I talk with people through comments. It's hard to feel connected talking to nobody as I go through this journal. So you can help me out a lot by saying, hi, I'm here, and I felt like making a comment. I wish you the greatest day and a wonderful week. Until next time. Bye-bye.